Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be making a paper doll, but I'm not going to be doing it in my normal way, which is to draw the doll on Procreate, print it with my printer, and then laminate it. Because I know that most people don't have a printer at home or a laminating machine or an iPad for that matter. So I just wanted to create a version that everyone could have if they wanted. So I'm starting with one of my dolls just for reference, and these dolls are everywhere else. They're just there because they're cute. And I kind of measured out her height because she is one of the taller dolls, so anything I do should, for a female at least, should ideally be shorter than this. I'm going to be using pencil crayons in my drawings. I probably should use markers, but I don't know where my markers are right now. So I'm going to be using Caran d'Ache oil pencils. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. And I'm going to be using just Prismacolor watercolor pencils. And I've had it for a while, the writing is worn off. So let's just get into that. This is not a tutorial. If you want to learn how to draw, please watch a video on how to draw, because I'm probably not going to be doing things right and I don't want to teach anyone the wrong habits. So right now I'm just sketching out her face, and if you've watched a tutorial before, you know that I'm already sketching like too dark. It's going to be really hard to get rid of this line when we're going over and inking and coloring. And when we're coloring, that dark line is probably going to get in the color and make it a little bit muddy and just not great. So, hence, not a tutorial. Already I can see that the head's a bit too big. The neck is a bit too wide, but we're just going to continue. The perk of doing this on Procreate is that whenever I see something like that, something's just a little bit too off, I can very easily adjust it, whether by just undoing it really quickly or using some type of tool to kind of reshape a particular structure. And that's what I'm talking about with the dark lines. And also, if you have a putty eraser, use a putty eraser. Don't use the regular erasers on your pencil. Yeah. So right now I'm going to be doing the arms, and I'm making the arms a little bit extended from the body, just because we don't want it to be too close and get in the way of like clothing and stuff like that. Also, a perk of using Procreate, I could just very easily select this area and duplicate it and just have both sides be done after doing one side. Yeah. So 2 arms that are uneven, but that's okay because our arms are uneven, and if you didn't know that, the human body is very irregular. So yeah, one side is not the same as the other. It shouldn't be insanely bigger or smaller, and even if it is, it just is. There's probably nothing wrong with you. Yeah. So now we're gonna put some boobs in. Oh, this is a very dark pencil. Again, not a tutorial, don't do any of this. The proportions are all off. So I typically do every silhouette in kind of like the Barbie hourglassy kind of figure, where it's just a super tiny waist for like no reason, and then narrow hips and, I don't know, curvy-ish legs. Okay. So another thing to note is that my dolls that I use for shooting and everything are somewhat articulated, so they have points on them that can move. If you're going to be doing that with this, I would say instead of doing it like this, you're probably going to want to draw the arm up to here and then draw this appendage like separately, but I don't think I'll be doing that unless I do. I'll decide at the end. I don't know. Okay. So please don't come for me. I know this isn't like any human you've ever seen. Like, no one looks like this, I know. If you want to learn how to draw the human body, please get an anatomy and physiology book and take a look. or get a tutorial that shows you how to do it. But for the sake of just being artsy and completely incorrect and lazy, we're just gonna eyeball it out. And I guess it didn't matter if the doll was on the table or not, because this looks nothing like it. I think the arms are a little bit short. They are short on all of the dolls that I have right now, and that's how I know it's an issue, so I'm just going to lengthen that out just a little bit. And then, yeah. I think that is probably a little bit more appropriate. So as I've been doing more of these paper dolls and more of their environment, I feel like I'm improving, enjoying a lot, but not to the extent that I can tell anyone how to do anything. I don't know. My biggest art tip to anyone who wants to learn how to draw or paint or anything is just look at whatever it is that you're drawing, painting, doodling, whatever it is, and trust your eyes, don't trust your mind. Our minds have a way of simplifying every bit of information that we get, just because we get so much every day, and those simplifications will really affect your artwork. So yeah, don't trust your mind, trust your eyes. They are the most powerful tool for any artist out there. Alrighty, so the first hand I did wasn't that hard. I think it's pretty common knowledge that a lot of people struggle with hands. Okay, this one is not looking so great. Oh god. Yeah. So we're just gonna, yeah. Yeah, the hands are sisters, not twins. They're just regular old sisters. They don't really look alike. So I feel like we have a pretty okay silhouette. I'm just gonna make a few adjustments just for my liking. Ooh. Okay, so if these continue shifting, I'm probably just gonna like toss them away, because again, they're just there to be cute. They're not there to get in my way. Okay, I feel like I'm just messing it up even more by adding extra lines with this super dark pencil. Don't do this. You want to be very, very light, and you want to use as few lines as possible. Yeah. Okay, so before I make it even worse, I guess we can kind of go into the face now. So I think the face proportion thing is like a third, a third, a third. Like you split in threes or something like that. I just eyeball it in, and whatever it is just kind of like what it is. And do the characters look like humans? Not really, but yeah. You get what you put in, okay? If you want to draw someone that looks like a human, you should probably be using a human reference. And yeah, if you're drawing anything at all, you should probably be using a reference. I think for a very long time, I thought that if you used a reference, that meant you had no talent. Because I would just see people, they would just draw and it would just come out exactly how it should. And I was like, why can't I do that? Why can't I just think about an elephant and draw an elephant? And the answer to that was I didn't know what an elephant looked like. I don't live around elephants. I don't see them on a day-to-day basis. I don't draw them. I don't watch shows with elephants. I don't know what they look like. Now, in essence, I can tell you they're pretty big. They have big ears and a long trunk and 4 big feet and a long tail. But that's about it. How long the trunk is, how long does it go down? Don't know. How big are the legs? Don't know. How tall is it? Don't know. How is the weight distributed? I don't know. And when you factor in all of that, it's no wonder you can't draw the thing. You don't know anything about it. So I made a whole shebang about the thirds and then went ahead and did not use the thirds. So just, do whatever makes you happy, I guess. And here's to hoping that this turns out well when we're done. So I'm going in for the eyeballs here, and the eyes are a little manga-esque. They're not exactly manga eyes, but I will say very manga-esque, or manga, however you say it. Or however it is actually said, because it's actually a word. So this looks nothing like my doll. We might scrap this video. So another thing that I do differently on all of the dolls is I do different eyebrows, and that helps to kind of like show who the character, not really who the character is, but a little bit about their personality. Like a happier person will have more curved eyebrows, while somebody a little bit sassier might have one that's a little bit straighter and one that's a little bit more curvy. One that's a little bit more devious might have their eyebrows like angled down. But yeah. So, again, is it looking like the doll I have on the table? Absolutely not. Is it beautiful? Also absolutely not. Let's continue. So now to just, I guess, the hair. With hair, I just do whatever, and I hope it turns out well. For her, I don't know, I think I'll do something quite simple. I like simple hair. So we're just gonna do that and get that there. And I think on her, I have another doll that I did this with, just like pigtails at the back, but she's not for the series, so you guys haven't seen it. But I absolutely loved the hairstyle, and I thought it was so adorable. Okay, so that's what we're working with right now, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna ink it, but do I have ink? Probably not. Taking the fact that this looks nothing like any of the dolls, while I go and grab a pen to ink this with. Okay, so I'm back, and I do have, oh no, is this gonna stain? Oh no. Okay, so I do have some inking pens, but they're all super old, and I don't know if they have any ink left in them. Okay, so that one can probably work. I see some ink in that one, but it would be pretty good to have more than one. Ooh, in case one stops working. Okay, alrighty. Okay, go me. Okay, so all three appear to be working. So I guess I'll just use them interchangeably. I only see like a major difference with one of them. One is super big, while the rest are pretty fine. Walking away and coming back, I can tell that the chin is a little bit uneven. And that's a great tip. Like, walk away from your artwork and come back. On Procreate, you can do a really cool thing where you just flip the canvas, and then once you flip the canvas, you're usually horrified by what you see, and then you make the changes. When you're working on a piece of paper, I don't know how you really achieve that type of thing. So just walk away, come back, take a look at it, and you'll typically see things that you want to change or alter. So I'm just going to ink this. Also, I think my line work on the actual dolls is pretty good, but my actual line work is very sloppy. I mean, I try to be neat, but it's such a tedious process if you want to get the lines straight. I've always envied artists that could just put their pen down and it would just move in the most fluid way. Okay, so at this point, this outer ink is probably wet. So if I do go in and try to do the inner details of the face, it will probably smudge something outside. So I'm gonna let that sit for like a minute or two, and then I will put the details of the face in. And that time I'm gonna get up again and get an eraser because I was very unprepared for this video. So the problem with erasers, even new erasers, is that they don't always work so well. So I'm just gonna check my eraser right now to see that it's not gonna leave like any blue residue or weird anything, and it looks pretty good. I just showed you that the ink would probably be wet, and I didn't want to mess it up by going in and erasing anything or even like doing the inner face because I didn't want to smudge anything there. Something that I've seen artists do is just like put a piece of paper over it and kind of draw on top of that so it doesn't like mess up. Let me tell you, I've messed up even doing that. So yeah, great tip if you can do it effectively. If you can't do it effectively, you're still gonna mess up. Now I'm gonna go in and do the eyes. I'm using one of the finer pointed pens to do that. Going in and defining just where you put your eyeliner, and I feel like I've already messed up with that. But it is what it is. Happy accidents, Bob Ross says, but in order for things to be a happy accident, you have to have like a certain level of context, right? Because if you know how to fix something and make it look intentional, then it's not really a mistake, it's just something that happened. But if you don't know how to correct your mistakes, it's not a happy accident. You just ruined your drawing or your painting or whatever you're doing, and it's not very pleasant. Just putting a line where the mouth would be, and then for her brows, I'm just gonna go in kind of like just. We're not really doing the most with brows. We're just kind of giving an idea of like where they would be, what they would look like. Putting in my pupil. I already messed up on that one. Perfect. Kind of messed up a little bit on that one too. Happy accidents. Ha ha ha. No, if I were to mess up this drawing, there would be nothing happy about it. The big question is, why didn't I do like a practice version of this before coming on camera and making a fool of myself? So as you can see, again, looks nothing like the doll, but let's move on. Trust the process. I won't say this was a failure until I've actually colored in. If you do mess up with the ink, like it smudges or anything, tough cookies, you can use a little bit of white paint or something like that to kind of cover it. But use the paint sparingly because you're going to be adding color on top anyways, and if you put something on the paper, like whiteout or paint or anything, it's going to affect how the color lays on it. And that might not matter to you, but it does kind of matter to me. So now that I've drawn a doll that looks nothing like my other dolls, I guess it's time to like color it in. I don't know, how do people normally get this off of the paper when they're doing a video? I don't know. I have a little brush, I think, somewhere, or maybe I don't. I don't want to just like, okay. Is that ASMR? I don't know. Is that just annoying? Probably. Alright, let's get all of that away. I probably should have like done some research on how to make a video like this. Just know that whatever you're hearing is probably 20% of the just utter garbage that I've been talking about. Yeah. You're going to be hearing like the tiniest percentage of what I've actually said throughout this whole non-tutorial. The only line that I'm really leaving in is that line for the lips, just because that's going to be done with colored pencils and not outlined with pen, and I still want to see like where it should be. Not me destroying my artwork. Don't do this. Don't ever do this. You're gonna smudge your paper, you're gonna get the oils off of your hand on the paper, you're gonna just make a mess. So my camera force is gonna take a little break, so I did, and now we're back. I tried to get as much of the pencil lines out as possible, just because, you know, the better you start off, the better it'll look in the end. I'm going to go in now with her skin tone, and I'm going to be using just a couple shades of browns, pinks, reds, and yellows. In what order? We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. So I think I'll start out with the yellow first. This is... what? Okay, so you remember how I told you that, like, all the colors were just gone? Like, the writing was gone? Goldenrod. This is goldenrod. Okay, so that's what I'm starting with. And I'm going in pretty light. You can use whatever, like, pressure works best for you. But if you're just starting out, I would say as light as possible. It takes way longer to get anything accomplished, like to see the colors and everything. But if you're doing it for the first time, or if you do it and you don't normally get like a good result, just start off lighter and work slower. And also watch tutorials. Again, this is not a tutorial, and I'm just gonna probably speed through the rest of this because I'm just gonna fill out everything with the goldenrod. Okay, so everything is covered in goldenrod, and I'm just gonna put that here. So ideally, when you're coloring with colored pencils, you really want sharp points, but I don't have my sharpener. I was not very prepared for this video, I'm sorry. Yeah. What the brand of pencil crayons that you use, I found that just like $1 Crayolas work just as good as the Prismacolors. I probably shouldn't say, no, it doesn't. It actually doesn't. The Prismacolor is longer lasting, like it doesn't fade out, whereas the Crayola will. But when you're just initially coloring, the difference isn't that noticeable. I even like the Crayola a little bit more sometimes. And yeah, for this part now, I'm using Tuscan Red over the goldenrod, and I'm just gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna cover the entire body. So we're just gonna speed through that portion. Okay, so by this point you'd have seen me try to fix a mistake right there just to make it worse by making another mistake right there. I'm going to go back over with the goldenrod. Now again, this is why I said you can use whatever pressure you want, whatever works for you, because if I was pressing a little bit harder, I would have gotten a more pigmented color like that, but then I would have to just work with that pigment. And when I would go on top with this to get the desired color, this would be very red, and trying to get the color I want would just, it would not work out as well. Like, that's very grainy and weird. So yeah, moving on, I'm gonna go back over with the goldenrod like I just said. That's a very boring process, so gonna speed right through that. Okay, so that's another layer on, and now I'm gonna start putting in, actually I think I might glaze over a little bit with the pink, and then I'm gonna start putting in some shadows, and After the shadows, I'll do the highlights, and I don't know after that. We'll see. Again, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going in right now with, oh, wow, pink. Yeah. So exactly what it looks like. I'm going in with pink and speeding through. Okay, so that is it with the pink. Oh yeah, so I'm not really going in with any colors on the ears just because I'm forgetting them. So I'm just putting a little pink on that. So yeah, now I'm going to be going in with shadows. Oh, well, I didn't tell you. After the inking process, if you do have access to a printer, or if you can wait until you can get access to a printer, I would say after penciling in and inking, if you're happy with your work, make a copy of it. Because in this process, like the coloring process, it is incredibly easy to just mess it up, and if you mess it up, you kind of ruined all your work. So make a copy if you can. If you can't, just be careful. So I'm taking a dark shade of brown, dark brown, and I'm only using the Prismacolors at this point. I'm just gonna go off of my own like knowledge of shadows and using the doll as reference, and it's going in. So you want a little bit dark where the cheekbones go hollow, and then at the sides of the nose. But again, this is not a tutorial. Please watch an actual video that is a tutorial if you want to learn how to put shadows into the face and everything. But like a few places where you would need it just off the bat, crease of the eyes, like anywhere where it folds in, anywhere where it like goes back, like the nose kind of protrudes off the face. Well, it doesn't kind of protrude, it protrudes off the face. The sides of it would be darker than the top where the light is hitting, just below where the hair falls. In the inner parts of the ear, just not that piece that you always see drawn, like the little, I guess you'd call it like, I call it like the little manga piece, but like, say that's an ear, right? These parts would be shaded in. These parts would see a lot more light, so they would be a little bit more highlighted. Just below the lips, and then below the neck. Alrighty, and now I'm just gonna put in a couple more places, and yeah, probably gonna speed through this portion as well. Okay, so this is sort of a tedious process because I am going to go into the shadows with something a little bit warmer now, because that was colder tone, and as you can see, she has a lot of red in her. So I'm just going to go over that again with a warmer brown. This one is, if I can see it, sienna brown. I'm just going to warm everything up just a little tiny bit, and I'm just going over the places that I've done previously with the dark brown, so just going to speed through that as well. Okay, not to be insanely repetitive, but we're going back in with a goldenrod. And at this point, we're going over everything. All the shadows, everything. At this point, I am pressing just a tiny bit harder because I have built up a bunch of layers underneath, and yeah, I feel like now I can put in a little bit more pressure because we're coming up to the point where we're almost done with the skin tone, and at this point you don't really want a lot of white being shown underneath. Something I should have taken into account is the type of paper I'm using. It's textured a bit, so the color doesn't go down that evenly. And I suppose if I did do this in maybe 5 more layers, I could cover it up a bit more. I don't know if I should. If I'm gonna do that, I would do it off camera and just tell you guys what I did. Just because it does take some time. Alright, I'm gonna speed through the rest of this. Okay, and at this point now we're going to go in and add some highlights for this one. I am going to be going into my Caran d'Ache set now. And again, if I'm saying that wrong, you know, tough cookies. Comment on how I should say it in the comments. So I'm going in with pale yellow. And is it giving? No, it's not giving. Pale yellow is not giving at all. So pale yellow was supposed to be my highlight because I just love a highlight. But it's not highlighting anything apart from my lack of like color knowledge and I don't know, skills. Thank you. Not sponsored. No, I'm pretty sure it's just like me not knowing what I'm doing. But in theory, this color was supposed to be my highlight. Stick with me and see if we figure it out. And yeah, at this point, again, I am using a bit more pressure. So I'm gonna do something weird, and I'm gonna try just, well, canary yellow. I'm just gonna try yellow and see if we can brighten it up just a little bit, but I'm going in really, really lightly here, because yellow can be quite an obnoxious color, even though it is one of my favorite colors. Yeah, the yellow is working pretty good and like drawing your attention to it. So is that a good thing? Not really, because people aren't yellow. No one is yellow, but it does help to like show the highlighted areas, so sorry about that. But this is just where we're at right now. 10,000 likes and I'll actually learn how to do this properly. Okay, so now that we've made an alien, I suppose, whatever we've made, I'm gonna add some paint to it and see if we can kind of, I don't know, tone it down a little bit. Maybe some white afterwards. I'm just gonna skip through this part, it's probably not gonna fix it. And at this point, I'm going through Caran d'Ache and just the Prismacolors because, like, I just need something to work. Okay. So now, like, as like my last resort, I'm going over and glaze. I think the term is glazing, and glazing with the white, and that just kind of blends things together. Kind of melts things together. I don't know how it does that and why like it doesn't work on other colors. Like, why can't you glaze with other colors? I'm sure you can. I just don't know how to. So it's kind of toning it down. I'm gonna skip through this part because it looks like I'm gonna need another layer of color after this. So speeding up. So now that I've fully glazed and embarrassed myself, I'm going to go in and add the final bits of colors. So that's going to be some dark colors again, some blush, and the lips and the eyes as well. So I'm just going to use that same white that has a tip of, can I talk? A bit of color on the end, and I'm going to use that to just put in where the whites of the eyes would be, because the whites of your eyes are not just pure white. Nothing on you is pure white. And yeah, so I'm gonna go back in with the Tuscan red, and I'm gonna warm her up. I'm gonna go into the shadows with that. You know where the shadows are because they're the darkened places that are there already. And yeah, I'm just gonna speed through that, and I'll see you at the end. So I'm just darkening up a bit with the Tuscan red, which is now looking like a very beautiful color. I feel like I failed you guys. I was like, this would be easy and anyone can do this, and I can't even do this. So if you learned something, I guess good for you. Yeah. And a little bit more of the goldenrod. I'm sorry, I didn't know that this part of it was going to take so long. I really didn't. But yeah. So I'm just softening up that a little bit with the goldenrod. So I think this is kind of like the happy accident thing that I was talking about earlier. It's like if you mess up and you don't know how to recover, and you don't have basic, maybe not basic, it's not even basic. If you don't have certain concepts, it's going to be really hard for you to fix your mistake. And yeah, if that's the case, there's nothing happy about it. If you find yourself in the position where you keep messing up your artwork and you keep like just being disappointed in what you're making, you gotta learn. There's something that you don't know how to do, and you just need to find the person on YouTube that is able to teach you how to do that in a way where you can actually grasp the knowledge. Now I'm going to go in with her lips, and I'm going to start with a lighter red because I do want to build up a little bit with the color. The good thing about lips is that you only need like a blob of color that looks like lips, and everyone will assume that they are lips. I'm going to go in again with that Tuscan red because, or maybe I can do like something like crimson. Do I have crimson? Yes, I do. Crimson red right here. I'm going to outline the bottom lip and just go to the center of the top lip. And right there, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but her bottom lip looks a little bit juicy. I guess I like that. Now I can go in with the Tuscan red and just add a little bit more depth. So that would be like outer corner. I don't know if it's going to show well on anyone. Jade has really nice lips. So darker on the outer edges and like at the crease and like right around. Around the edge is kind of intentional by me. I just like a dark liner. Okay, so there we have her lips in. And I'm going to go in with a little bit of the crimson on her cheeks, just to be a little bit more intentional with the blush. Okay, and now I guess I can do her brows, which her hair is going to be pretty dark, so I'm going in with that dark ashy black. Maybe that's not the brown, not black, but maybe that's not the best way to describe it. It's a cool brown. It doesn't really have a lot of reds in it. And on top of that, I think I might go in with a dark cool blue. In the Caran d'Ache, I have Prussian blue, and I'm gonna go over with that. And notice that I didn't go in with black. If you can, just avoid using black for as long as possible. Given that I have this dark color right here, I'm gonna go in and just make her pupil and the dark edges of her eyes. So for the pupil, just like a ball, a circle. And I'm gonna go back with that ashy brown, that dark brown, and just kind of go over the blue. try to be as neat as possible because any blurring here can just mess up the entire eye. And because I wasn't like as neat as I could be, I messed up the eye. I'm going in with indigo blue, and I'm gonna see if I can darken or highlight that pupil just a little bit more. Not highlight it, but like make it more noticeable. And I think for the rest of the eyes, I'll just go in with like a light shade of green and just go around very lightly. Because again, we don't want to really, because I did kind of mess up the pupils, I don't want to put in too much more into the eyes to kind of make it look even more confusing. I'm just color fixing here. Don't mind me. Okay. So there's our girly. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of the brown here, just to darken that up a little bit. Oh, she looks friendly. She looks really friendly. I like her. And now that we have most of the body's color in, I'm gonna go in and do the hair. And I'm gonna do her hair in black because I just like black hair. To do that, I'm gonna go in with Caran d'Ache Prussian Blue. I'm just gonna color in all the hair. I wanted to talk all the way through this video because I feel like it just flows more natural like this, but I feel like I'll have to do a voiceover because this video is a lot longer than I thought it would be. Over that, we're going to go in again with my favorite, the ashy brown, the dark brown. Just a dry color. And then I know I said we would not be using black, but the Caran d'Ache black is actually not very pigmented, so I think I might use that. But let's see. My hands are actually getting tired. I haven't done this kind of thing in quite some time. I was quite busy last year and the year before that, so I wasn't really drawing on paper or coloring anything on paper. I had bought the iPad for my birthday 2 years ago, and the only time I've been able to draw, I've been doing it on that just because it was easy. I didn't have to unpack anything or repack something after I was done. So I can see how, like, I can see why this is so challenging right now. Because it wasn't particularly easy before, and it certainly is not easy now. I'm going in with indigo blue. And I'm going to speed through that, just indigo blue over all of the hair. Okay, so I did take a little break again, because my camera keeps overheating. So what I just did was the hair, you know that you've been here, you didn't leave, I did. So we have 2 shades of blue down and the ashy brown, which is just again dark brown. I'm gonna go in again with the dark brown, and then I'm gonna go in with some black at this point, but I'm gonna be using the Caran d'Ache black because it is not as pigmented as the Prismacolor. On this layer, I am putting a little bit more pressure. There's no way for me to glaze this with white without it looking strange. So just like the same way you would glaze with the white, just do that with the brown. Okay. And now some black. The black is going to go in areas where it would naturally be darker. So like this area behind here, because that would be behind the neck. Okay. And now I will take the black from the Prismacolor, and I'm just gonna go at the top right here, just at the very top. Just do that. Behind the ears, just a little bit up. And then in those same dark areas, we're just gonna come and just blend a little bit out. And then down here, a little bit right here. I'm just gonna blend that up. So just play around with the pressure that you're using, and always start off lighter and then just play around. And yeah, the ends of the eyebrows, I'm gonna go in with black just to define that just a tiny bit more. And then where the eyeliner would be, just going over that with black. Okay, and just right there. Okay. So I'm gonna try something that may or may not work. So I have gel ink, and let me just check it before I do it. I wanted to add a few bits of highlight, but this isn't like the best quality pen, like by any standards. As you can see, it's basically brand new. Yeah, I don't think that's really gonna help me that much. Okay, I wanted to do some highlights, but that might not be possible right now, at least. I might do it with some acrylic paint afterwards or something like that. So I'm gonna go in and add a few little marks here and there, just because I don't really like to see just the skin with nothing. It just looks weird to me. Like regular skin has some, you know, markings, some dots, some spots here and there. I'm just going in and just putting her. Now on all of my dolls, I do put underwear on them. So I am gonna go in and just like do the outline. You don't want to do too much because you don't want it showing when you're wearing the clothes. So this is basically the shape, and right here I'm being a little bit heavy-handed. I just really want to get the color on at this point. Not doing too much with this because it's going to be covered for the most part. So nice low-cut bra, so she can wear something low-cut if need be, and some nude underwear. Okay, so that's what we're working with right now. Just gonna go up here and just add a little bit more color here and there. Okay. So again, I wanted to put some highlights in, but I don't think this pen is going to work for me. I am very much afraid. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think I just made her look like weird. I don't think that helped, not one bit. Yeah, I just don't think this pen is helping at all. So my advice on this, don't use cheap gel pens. because I feel like it's more lifting the pencil crayons more than it's actually like putting down a color. Like, I don't know how much of this is color and how much of it is just me lifting the crayon. Okay, and I'm just gonna do like one more thing. I'm gonna darken up the crease of her brow just a little bit more. Well, I have nothing to say. Yeah. Ta-da! The last thing I'm gonna do, apart from cry about this failure, no, it's not a failure, it just didn't turn out how I expected it to turn out, I guess. But the last step to it is to put some tape over it to kind of preserve it. So at this point I'm going to be using clear tape. Unless it's mailing tape, I don't know if it makes a difference. But yeah, and it's going to be a pretty loud, obnoxious sound, so I guess I'll just mute that part out. But all I'm doing is basically just like putting the clear tape over it, and that's going to work kind of like laminating it. That's going to protect the art and preserve it. Okay, so let me just put these away, and it might be a little bit extra, but I think it's worthwhile to laminate the back or put tape on the back as well, because again, if you're like me, this took you over an hour to do, and you don't want to waste an hour's worth of work. So I do have some excess tape. I'm just gonna come over on the back and just take that down. That is all like remnants of the colored pencils. I know it looks gross and dirty, but it's just pencil colors or pencil crayons. Again, I do think it's worthwhile to do the back, so that's what I'm going to be doing right now. On the back, you can be a little more messy, like I just put my fingerprints all over the tape. It doesn't really matter though because no one's seen it. Okay, so not my best move. Okay, so I just wasted a bunch of tape. I don't like wasting. So the memory just filled up, so I switched out, or I didn't switch out, Cam switched it out. I put the tape on the front and the back just for some added security, and now the only thing that would be left for this doll is to cut her out. That I will not be doing on camera just because I will just be cutting it. There's no special techniques behind it, just cut as neatly as you can. I just brought Abby out because she wanted to come out. So yeah, alright, so right now we have our doll finished and she is basically laminated. And I just want to show you guys some clothes on her because the general clothes that I have should fit her. Like that, you know, that's cute. I'm trying to show you guys stuff that I've already shown you. Like, I don't want to expose everything. So yeah, a lot of the clothes I have already kind of fit, and that's what you want when you're making a bunch of them that you plan to use together. If they can basically fit, if they're basically the same size, they can fit the same clothes, and you can make less of things. You can mix and match and do a lot of stuff. Don't mind that. That was just a piece of paper flying across the room. So I'm gonna make some clothes for her, and yeah, and after we make some clothes, I guess we'll make a bedroom and go from there.